We won't get in trouble for this, will we? We won't get hit with copyrights, will we?
As long as older than Brenda.
It's got to be in the public domain. I like it. I like it. It goes on forever, too. But I'm not going to play the whole
Well, it sure does.
And until we lift you up in the chair, Sherry.
Exactly. I tried to say that. I tried to explain that. I'm like, which one of us is going up in the chair? All right.
There we are.
There we are.
It is the Burning River Browns talk with a little Passover flavor to it. And my two close colleagues and DJFs, designated Jewish friends, here on the Burning River Browns talk. Thank you guys for coming here. Thank you all for joining us. We got some stuff to talk about with the Browns. I guess some things have been happening. Who says the off season's our time off? I mean, it's never is. It hasn't
Well,
been.
I feel like last week was nice and easy. Did you guys? It was fairly like low key.
Quiet.
Of course,
It was
there was
quiet.
all nonsense with everybody and their blessed mock drafts.
Oh, I love mock drafts. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love them like proctologists love hemorrhoids.
Yes.
Hi-yo.
Yes. Let me watch another mock draft like getting your prostate checked by the Wolverine. Ho!
Oh,
So we could keep going. We could keep going.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my son came on Going Nuclear last night, and he did his mock draft, and I mocked him as he was doing his mock draft, and I had some very questionable calls about it.
We mock the mock drafts here. It's mental masturbation. It doesn't do a gut. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't do anything. Somebody comes out with a mock draft, big flipping whoop. It doesn't mean anything. But it is the Burning River Browns talk here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. Thank you for joining us. Check out the sponsor of the show and the details of the show, Hemisphere Coffee Roasters. Click on the link and tell them Lou and the Jews sent you. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Order up some coffee.
Yum.
So we're here to do that. All right. I have I have one special guest. Sherry's always on the show with me. Sherry at Browns Fan Girl on Instagram, Browns Fan Girl on Twitter, X. And on Instagram, you're Budgie. I have Ethan Greenberg, E Green 4. What is yours?
4325. If you're a fan of the Cavs, you know the numbers.
4325. Perfect. Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you for coming here, Ethan. Now, what shows you? Go ahead and plug your stuff right now.
All right. So we've got Going Nuclear, full-blown coverage of the land. That's with me and my co-host, Mike Rosinski, and also the best doggone podcast in the land with at Love Buckeyes, Heather.
Heather. Yep. Heather's been on the show. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Fantastic stuff there. Love being a part of the group. There's a lot of great programming. Folks, you got to be liking. You got to be subscribing.
Gotta love it. We got a lot of great people here in the Fanatical Elves. We do. A lot of great people, a lot of great content. Yeah.
And we're all different. There's varying opinions. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes. I remember when the Myles Garrett stuff was happening.
We got our first. Hey, Randall. Shout out to Randall from Arkansas. Yes, the drafts are a mockery.
Okay.
Or just.
Yeah, I didn't even see the comments. Thanks for staying on that, Sherry. Sherry, anything you want to plug? We got the Shabbat Stew Pod on the Rumble channel, and anything else going on? You got just taking it easy.
Passover tomorrow. Yes.
Passover
Hello,
tomorrow.
Jews. Enjoy your matzah.
Yes. I tried to speak Hebrew, but it makes her ears hurt.
He tried Chag Sameach.
Yeah, the phlegm thing.
I told him he needed dairy ahead of time to get it to work.
Yes, definitely. Isn't it interesting though that certain languages and certain areas, it could be certain areas of the country, certain languages, you have these different ways of speaking. The fact that most Jewish people, and if you read Hebrew, you got to have a lot of phlegm. Why do you have so much phlegm?
It's a very, very damp language.
Yes.
Damp. Whoa. Oh, gosh. I feel like I'm in a basement here. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. We were talking about it. But so There's some things we want to talk about, like the breaking news, the big news this morning. Joe Flacco signs a 1-year, $4 million deal with incentives, could be up to $13 million with the Browns. So that's great news, in my opinion. I think it's great because I figured they were going to get a veteran quarterback. We could talk about the impact of that. There's some misinformation about the stadium that's been out there, so I think we can clear that up. And I think Ethan had a wonderful idea that he hit me with it before the show. We're going to talk about the X-Tard of the week on X. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So with today's news, it really brought out the finest in people. And so I just wanted to, share this.
Yeah, let's get this out of the way.
So, okay. Tell him again. He got benched last year, and this loser fan base is glossing over the bum. All right. So tell me, sir, what is your grandiose plan? We have the only healthy quarterback on the roster as of this morning was Kenny freaking Pickett. Got a broken Deshaun Watson. The owner said, we swung and missed. He basically said, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Right.
And he was honest. He was open and honest about it. He was accountable. I was fine with that. It's 100% right. It was. Yeah, we all watched last year. We saw what we saw. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure did.
This is why I can't stand half the Browns fan base. Always hyped over trash, then tries to hide some of the trash while still glossing over it.
Yikes. That would be the last word I would use to describe Joe Flacco.
No.
It's crazy. Then this goofball, Barry and Kevin think Pickett and Flacco is going to save their jobs. They will be fired after this season. Let's see what others. By getting Flacco, this tells me they are drafting Sanders at 2 now, 100%. I don't know if that's a goof or not, but that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah,
it means they're not going to draft a quarterback at 2, in my opinion. Lou, am I off base here?
No, I don't think at all. I think it's either going to be Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. And just a little side note about Abdul Carter. The medicals came back on his foot. And
he's good?
He's good. Yeah,
now,
he's good.
That was big.
Was that according to just Rosenhaus? Or was that actually according to
that was the medicals from the combine?
Well, right, but I mean, who reported that? Rosenhaus?
Hey, Steve. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Steve. I believe Rosenhaus sent it to Rappaport, and Rappaport reported it.
And so Rosenhaus.
You're taking that with a grain of salt. You're taking it with okay, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, I saw the news.
No, I know, I hear you. I'm
hey,
just
Brian.
saying. I see Rosenhaus, and I'm like,
Drew Rosenhaus. Well, you got to remember, this team at one time had Josh Gordon and Johnny Manziel, so we're done with that. Okay, whoever that person was, I didn't know their name or anything.
I don't know.
I would like to. I would like to talk to them because they're going through something in life that I would never know about, and it's just having a micro penis. So I wouldn't know what
I was going to use the term, schmuck, but tomato.
Well, they are. You know what I like, Sherry, using our Passover edition here, Schmeckeldorf.
Oh,
a real Schmeckeldorf.
I just went full wall on you. See, this is my Homer Simpson. I come into the bushes, I come out of the bushes. So,
dude, that's amazing.
She just backs up and disappears.
I do.
One of my jokes.
I really like it.
I like that. I definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. I see these comments from this morning. I'm not saying that this move is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
No.
But this certainly gives me hope to stay afloat.
I like the familiarity of it. It made me feel comforted. It made me feel relieved. No offense to the people who were pounding really hard about getting what's his face from the Falcons.
Kirk Cousins. I don't think that's going to happen now.
No, that's not going to happen at all. I'm so relieved to have a familiar, well-loved, stand-up guy again that's going to be, part face of the franchise for now. That makes me happy. It's comforting. We know his playing style. We know he could lob it downfield. That's great. What if we do get Travis Hunter?
What?
That would be.
I wouldn't argue with Travis Hunter. I wouldn't argue Abdul Carter. I could see the logic in both picks. I really could.
But it was very comforting to see that today when I picked up my phone and got like 17 texts from Lou being like, "We got Joe Flacco," and I'm like,
"Yes." I texted everybody.
No, I was happy. I was very happy, and I'm like, "Yes, Flacco." Hence, why I have the Flacco fever.
I don't see Cooper
I'm
coming
cold.
back, Steve. Amari
no.
Cooper coming back. I think he hit the wall, man. How
Yeah,
unfortunately.
he was not so good when he went
Yeah,
up to
he
Buffalo.
hit that 30-year-old wall, and that was it. But
yeah, I think I saw a mention. There was a comment about Cooper, and they're like, he quit on the team. He quit on the team, and he did this. I'm like, he did not quit on.
where does this shit come from?
I just saw a cute one that said, "Let's bring the band back," and I'm like, "Oh, that's cute."
Yes, we'll reunite the Beatles. Even though like two of them are dead.
Hey, I can come in. I could be there. Me.
Yeah, I'm the best drummer in the world. Oh, so
me and
sorry.
Sean, we were hanging out.
So I'm gonna do a British accent
I'm
for the rest of the show from Liverpool. So all right. The one thing I did want to say before the one point I want to make was whomever I should say, the Browns draft, I want them to succeed.
Yes.
Okay. Even though it might not be my guy or who I was on board with, I
Sure.
want them to succeed. I want the team to succeed. Ask yourself this when you tweet stuff or post your shit. What do you want? What is it really? What's the big? I mean, do you want this team to succeed? Do you want this team to do well? You just want them to fail, and just so you can be proven right and stroke your tiny ego, the little micro ego you have. Seriously,
It's true, Lou. You're 100% on point. There are more people out there who would rather be right and have the team fail than be wrong and see the team succeed. It's really sad, to be quite honest. I mean,
I wanted Watson to succeed. I did. I honestly did. But when I saw what I saw, I was like, all right, I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm that way. That's just how I've always been. And I think even to a fault, I've been too positive sometimes. But the writing was on the wall. DTR was actually worse than him.
Right.
Jameis Winston, when he wasn't turning the ball over, was pretty good. When we got good quality play from a quarterback, we were competitive. We were. I mean, but Jameis Winston was throwing too many picks. And I mean, there was the one, I was at the Kansas City game. There was one, he threw it into triple coverage. We all looked at each other like, who the hell was he throwing it to? I mean, and I think even they cut away to Dorsey in the booth. He's like, what? He's like throwing a fit. So I think they're probably going to draft either Hunter or Carter. I think Jalen Milroe is the guy that's going to be in play because of Tommy Rees.
Yeah, I could definitely could see that. It's all really going to be interesting now because as we saw this afternoon, the news came out of New Orleans now that Derek Carr's season is in jeopardy. So that kind of like, if there was a question about what they might be doing at number 9, I think that question is flown out the window. So you can pretty much count on New Orleans looking at quarterback, probably Sanders. So you're going to be talking about Tennessee taking a QB for sure. Like,
they're taking Cam Ward. I think
99.9% chance they are taking Cam Ward.
Worst kept secret. Yeah.
Right. I mean, the question is who else down the draft board in that first round is going to go after a quarterback, considering what everybody is talking about in that, are these guys good enough? Are they worth the first round pick? But I think you're right. Let's just say I would certainly say Ward and Sanders. And then the toss up is Dart and Milroe. And the connection with Reese and Milroe is good. I don't know. Now, this is a question that came up listening on the radio. How does Milroe fit into what Stefanski does? How his offense runs?
I've been seeing videos about that he would fit in. They need to work on his mechanics. He'll be a project. And I would like to see this regime draft a quarterback, have a plan, execute that plan, and develop the quarterback.
Sure.
Meaning don't deviate from it. Don't panic. Don't just throw him out there when he's not ready. And I agree with you, Steve. Yes, they're going to take a QB, but not a 2. I think they might actually trade up a couple spots to go to get. Somebody was even saying they might trade all the way back up to 20 to leapfrog Pittsburgh to get their quarterback.
Right. And
I'm hearing that.
Right. That was so. I know that they were concerned. Rizzo is like, if Pittsburgh gets Shedeur Sanders, but yeah,
He ain't getting past New Orleans now.
no, now he's
No.
not. But the question is, Pittsburgh is the next quarterback needy team after New Orleans, I think.
hmm
Yeah.
And so if you're
Will Howard, we could talk about Will Howard.
He's like a third rounder or something like that, or later.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see. They didn't even visit Will Howard to work him out, as far as I know. So I don't think
But
he's.
they may
in
not
play.
have had to report it because he'd be a local since he's at Ohio State.
Okay, it's possible. I know they probably went to the Ohio State Pro Day, and I heard he had an amazing Pro Day. So
do you think that interview that came out with him and Gruden, do you think that gave any
I didn't watch that interview. I heard about it, but
to
Gruden
his
does that every
stock?
year.
Like, it was really well done and put together, and
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
yeah.
As it should be. I would hope so.
I watched. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I watched him develop throughout his last year at Ohio State, and I mean he really grew as a quarterback, and I just kind of watched what he did, and I mean that playoff performance was amazing. Even though he had like the best team in the country around him, it's like he was a part of that too. So, maybe
I take a flyer on him later.
Sure.
He's not someone that you're going, this guy is going to be my franchise quarterback.
no.
And the statistics show that of the starting quarterbacks, almost all of them are first rounders. There's a few outliers, but almost all of them are first rounders. You got Jalen Hurts, who was a second rounder.
Yeah, I'm with you, Steve.
Dak Prescott was a fourth rounder. And Brock Purdy, of course, was the last pick in the draft. But again, most of the starters in the league are first rounders. If you get these guys later in the draft that are projects, first of all, they don't get as much leeway. They don't get as many opportunities. So when they get an opportunity, they better darn well show up and show out. Because if they don't, they're going to go straight back to the bench. And someone who gets drafted a lot higher and you've invested in is going to get that position. So Will Howard, he benefited from all the players around him, like you said, Lou, but that's also to the detriment. Someone who wants to argue, well, look at all the players. Look at the guy he's got around him, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of good things out of him. He's got great size, but he's not, he's got great size, but he's mobile.
Josh
but he's
Allen,
not fast, right?
Yeah.
Trips over his own feet a little bit. He doesn't have the strongest arm. So it's give and take there. And most of these guys, even there's no surefire number ones. There's no Andrew Luck. There's no Peyton Manning. If we're,
wow, when was the last time you heard anything about Andrew Luck? I'm like,
yeah, he left the league and that's it. Yeah.
Isn't he the GM of the football program or athletics at Stanford? Some position.
Yeah.
Something. Something. Got it. Bloatware. Got it. He's bloatware, unfortunately. But yeah,
Rob's up here. Rob said some stuff. This guy, Rob, he said he felt Milroe needed another year in college. Take a shot at Dart. Okay.
Yeah.
And he said next year's class. Yeah, we're hearing about how next year's class is going to be way better.
Okay.
And, yeah, and Howard. Yeah, Howard. He could be great. I mean, you really don't know sometimes with these guys.
You don't know until they're on the field in the NFL playing with the grown-ups.
Well, let me ask you this, because everybody keeps talking about next year's draft class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before we made this move today to bring in Flacco, I was going, oh my God, we've got to find a quarterback. We cannot go.
We need a veteran. We need a veteran.
Yeah. We need to have a quarterback. We can't go in with Kenny Pickett as our only healthy quarterback. This is not going to work. But in theory, let's say the Browns don't draft a quarterback early. We don't pick one up to the middle rounds, right? So let's say we get Will Howard in the fourth round and we win about 7 games. Now we don't have a franchise quarterback and we're not near the top of the draft board. Let's say there's only 2 good quarterbacks next year out of all these guys in college, because we've seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's this big projection, and then there's only like 2 good quarterbacks. And you have to give up a crap ton to be able to move up the draft board if you want to get one of those
Because
guys.
we're not only winning 3 games next year. I would probably
Right,
bet we're
exactly. So that's my point. Like, you
Mhm.
need to have this plan going into effect. The idea, all these people, wait till next year. No.
We've been waiting for
The
next year
time is
for
now. The
Yeah, you
time is
gotta-
now.
To
Do
the
it
position.
now.
So if you see a guy that you like and you need to go back up and get him, you get him. I don't think you have to take. I think that if you looked at it in the levels of Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Milroe, Dart, maybe from Ward to Sanders, there's a decent gap. Sanders, Milroe, Dart, they've all got their own kind of flaws. Sanders maybe a
Mhm.
bit above those two, but then if you see like, look, we want either Milroe or Dart, and we're not going to be able to get either one of them if we don't move up, then you have to move up if you like that player.
Right.
Have some conviction.
Yes, that's important.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, you got to commit to it, and you got to be ready. Do you see them trading up in the back end of late in the first round? I could see them moving up.
Think they want to, but they may have to.
When you thinking they're gonna try to leapfrog Pittsburgh?
That would be my guess. And the Rams also they got to be thinking about their future. I mean, think about what the Packers did, bringing in Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, I mean, that was like a late first rounder. They got him, even though they still had Aaron Rodgers at the time. The Rams, they've got Matt Stafford, but he's at the back 9 of his career, and it's not going to be long. So they really would be, it would benefit them to get somebody to be the predecessor or the successor, I should say.
All right. I could see that. We got, I mean, do they, it could be a gamble waiting all the way to 33 if your guy might be off. Yeah, it could be. You don't want to panic either, but you don't want to,
Well, should we ask the homeless guy? Can we get a homeless guy on the phone?
Yes.
Oh, there's so many.
I know that's who Jimmy Haslam likes to talk to before he makes picks.
Yes, he talks to people laying in their own feces. So a billionaire getting a homeless guy told him. I'm like, I heard that story. I cringed. I was like, what? It's ridiculous. Get draft advice from a guy. I'm no offense to the homeless people, but you're there for a reason. So
unhoused.
Yes. Yes. So I want to bring this up. I know we're 20 minutes into the show, but I want to bring this up because the new stadium is becoming way too controversial, because I was reading some articles about it, doing my research.
I find it annoying too.
I think people are stadium not. I think even my Noah, you know what I'm talking about? Noah.
Yes.
He does his At the Office show. Great guy. Help him promote stuff. He was even talking about how they're burned out. They're sick of talking about this.
I'm sick of.
I just want to just blow up all this misinformation that was out there. Okay.
We know it passed in the first chamber. We got that going for us.
The budget, it's in the state budget. Yes. Yeah. It still has to go through the Senate.
I have a question. So if they do this for the Browns, what if the Bengals ask for something like this?
They already are, but they're a little bit late right now. They're behind the 8 ball with us right now. We already came to them.
Okay.
Yep, they're behind in this budget cycle, as Daryl Ryder pointed out.
Yeah, we've been planning this for a long time. Yeah, the Haslams know what they're doing. That's why I find it hard to believe that this is
big business people. They know how to get in good with the politicians.
And how this speed bump happens. If there's a speed bump in this, that they're just going to blow it up and just stay downtown. I don't see that happening. I see the dome happening, like most people do. But there's some misinformation about this. One, when you hear politicians saying taxpayer money, it's a loan. It's a bond. That means it gets paid back. They're not giving them money. They're taking out a loan from the state to pay it back. And guess what? They're backing the loan with $50 million in cash.
Now, are they doing 50 or 38?
No, 50. It went up to 50.
They went up to 50. It went up to 50, which is about, it'd be like if you put 9% down on a house.
Okay.
That'd be like if you had a house that was worth $100,000, you wanted a mortgage 90, then you want to mortgage 91,000 before closing.
Yep.
Before closing costs and all the other bullshit, you got 9,000.
Gotcha.
You put 9,000 down on it, so that way they have some skin in the game, so they're backing it up, and they're projected revenue to pay it back. Now, will the revenue fall short? I don't know. They know this stuff. They know stuff more than I do. But there was we were talking about this before the show. Ethan and I were at Aunt Sherry, that there were rumors that $400 million was being taken away from the Ohio school system, from Ohio schools, to pay for this. Not true. Even Jason Lloyd on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show debunked it, because he even talks. He has a guy that he's a friends with, a Columbus reporter that reports on the state politics and the workings of the politics of the state, the state capitol and all the General Assembly and all that other stuff. And they said, no, that's not what's happening. I guess you even talking about like the money's going to charter schools, which that's a separate issue. That's more of a political show thing, where the money's going to, versus it has absolutely nothing to do with the Browns. Nothing.
Yep.
Anybody saying that is 100% full of shit. They are. Anybody saying it's taxpayer money? Well, technically, yes, but it's taxpayer money being lent out. It's a loan. Okay. And I think the Haslams are good for $600 million if they're considering how much they're putting up for this now. The total project is $3.6 billion. 2.4 of that is already not privately funded, excuse me. They're asking for 1.2, which about half of that will come from the state in a loan. And there's other ways and other funding mechanisms that are going to be in place. This was well thought out. This was well planned, and this is going to happen. They're ready to put down shovels to the ground and break ground as early as the next 9 months.
Yep.
Yeah. Early Jan. I can see as early as, and they plan on having that stadium ready to go by preseason of 2029. So what's the alternative if this stadium doesn't get built? What is the alternative? Besides, if we don't have this stadium built and the Browns don't play in Brook Park, what's going to happen? Where do they go?
Well, according to the detractors, and we'll just renovate this stadium.
Okay. You're talking about renovating a stadium that was built in a rush, that was poorly built 30 years ago, that's on already a 93-year-old foundation.
Sinking into the lake slowly.
It's sinking into the lake. It's just, it basically costs $2 million a year just to keep it up to code, much less maintain it. Yeah. Every penny of that is coming from the taxpayers. Every penny of that is a taxpayer money. So you're screaming no taxpayer money for stadiums, but then you want to renovate the current one with taxpayer money. You make absolutely no sense. You people have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, you want the weather advantage? Well, how did that work out for the past 25 years? Let's have an advantage by having a better team. Can we start there?
That would be the ultimate goal. I mean, okay, so Lou, let me ask you this, and maybe you're a little bit more connected. Obviously, I'm not up there. Maybe, Sherry as well, but the businesses that are concerned about what will happen that are downtown.
Okay.
Talk to me about why is it that they depend solely on
10 days a year?
10 days a year?
Yeah. I really, they're talking about just because the amount of people that come down and they just depend solely on that. There's also there's 81 dates with the baseball,
right?
There's another 41 dates.
Yep.
With
basketball.
With the basketball.
And not to mention the hockey.
They got the hockey,
right.
you got the Monsters, and you also have concerts and other events that happen down there. Oh, you haven't even seen me give. You watch the Sunday Stew Pot. I get real pissed. I got fired up. I got fired. No, the lady doing a TikTok disparaging her husband because she had to think. Remember? Did you ever see this woman? She was like, I have to take on the mental load. He's making dinner and he asked me what should I make for dinner, and I had to tell him. Oh, I'm like, you mean he's actually cooking you dinner and he asked you what you wanted? And that's just, you had to actually make a decision. Oh my God, your life's so hard. And this guy, no. He was also, wow. No. Just so you know, he was like getting the kids' backpacks together to he's going to take them to daycare. And he goes, hey, what goes in their backpacks? What should I put in there? He asked for her help. He's trying to do the right thing. Okay. And he probably does that because he doesn't want to hear you nag him. Okay, lady. And he took the kids to daycare. And you know what his job was? He worked for a power company.
Wow.
He goes up on cherry pickers and works on power lines, which is a
He's
dangerous
lineman.
job.
That is very dangerous.
And so you should have heard me going, lady, you go up there and do his job for one day. You'll come home and you'll kiss his feet. All right. And I basically told him, plus, if you have a problem with your spouse, is this the place to go?
Yeah, why are you going to do it on the internet? Shame a person. That is just wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of, I said,
so wrong.
I went, what the F is wrong with you, lady? I mean, that's what I got fired up. So go, you can check it out on the Stew Pot. But I said, look, people, when you're married, you annoy each other. It comes with the territory. So, yeah, Ethan. But no, I'm getting fired up because there's a lot of misinformation. Like Adam the Bull said that about the schools not being funded. And I'm like, Adam, no. And I said, look,
you should know better.
Well, no, look, if you care so much about schools being funded, get up off your ass, go vote on a school levy on election day. Right?
Yeah, I know we got something coming up.
You know, that was okay. So here's an interesting question, or just one of those things that was always mind-boggling.
And those businesses with 10 days a year, that stadium would sit empty 350 days out of the year.
I think they're trying to.
It's empty.
I think they're trying to play into sentimentality, as a lot of people have been doing.
I remember when Mayor Bibb said about minorities and people of color wouldn't be able to work at Brook Park.
And I'm like, that's not true, but it's it's sentimentality. Like
coming there, yeah.
They're trying to play to people's heartstrings, to the old school regulars. Like, well, what about us? Don't you remember before you went down to the game, before maybe you went to the tailgate, you hit us up?
Yeah, I mean, we talked. So a couple of things. One, you mentioned the school levies.
Wow.
You weren't even that. You were like lukewarm. You weren't even.
I was
fully
lukewarm.
fired.
Oh,
yeah, you were just room temperature.
Bring a play calling. Watch me go.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Bring play calling and mock drafts. Here we go. Yeah, go ahead, man.
No, so all right. People. Okay. Did you ever hear Lou? You talk about the levies, and you always have problems passing levies, and people who would be like, "Well, my kids don't go to school. I don't have kids." It's like, you clowns. Support the schools around you, and it makes your property value go up. You realize
it brings people to your neighborhood. The higher the grade of your school district goes
exactly.
up.
Yeah.
So just because you don't use it doesn't mean it doesn't help the economy. So I know people are like, what am I going to do with a stadium in Brook Park? What?
Go to it.
It's going to bring all kinds of concerts that you couldn't get at the stadium. If someone wants to have a big concert in the winter, are they going to come to the Browns to Huntington Bank Field?
No.
Would they go to a dome?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Would you get WrestleMania or something during the
NCAA
winter?
Final Four?
Exactly. How about the Big Ten championship?
What about Royal Rumble?
Well,
Royal Rumble that was at Lucas Oil Stadium. This past Royal Rumble
Cleveland had SummerSlam.
Yes, we had SummerSlam. Yeah,
but
which was nice.
You can only do it during the warmer months.
Yeah.
And I understand it. So let's also talk about this. If you renovate the stadium, also that's going to come at a cost, and your ticket prices will go up. So for everybody who's complaining about the potential rise in prices, which
our tickets went up anyway.
Right. There's going to be a rise in prices no matter how you slice it. And if you cannot afford it, that is okay. I know that sucks. But look at Progressive Field.
Sure.
Back in the mid-90s, first of all, it was selling out every game for 455 consecutive games. And you had to have money to have season tickets to get to the game. Now they've figured out a way to make it family friendly. They came up with alternative ways to get the ballpark pass, to get people in. I know that it's a matter of like the Browns games, there's only 8 of them. The demand or 9, depending on the season, there's a lot higher demand.
Yeah, preseason, maybe 10, yeah.
But the point being, they came up with a creative way to get people in the doors without breaking the bank. So I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, there's also too, Daryl tweeted something with opening day
There.
with Daryl Ryder,
Mhm.
love him, showed a picture of parking for $70.
That's
down
crazy.
Oh, that was a cheap. I saw over $90 in
Yeah,
one of the
but
pictures. Yeah.
his thing was, you got to love capitalism when you can gouge people's prices. Can I explain capitalism real quick? And I'm about to get fired up. In order for capitalism to work, you have to have two willing parties willing to participate.
Right.
All right. If I'm driving there to go to a game and I see $70, but I go down the street and I see 15 or 20, where do you think I'm going to park?
Down the street.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll walk. All right. I'm not going to pay $70 to park. We take the Rapid. Sherry and I, we take the Rapid. We're not paying the ridiculous prices. If you don't want to pay it, don't.
Exactly.
You don't have. If you think tickets are too expensive, don't. I mean, I hate to say it, but don't go. Or budget your money around it.
Sure.
There's ways to budget around
It's
it.
a luxury item. It's not a given. It's an extra. You have
like
you said, you have to budget for these things.
Yeah, it's like the lady said, "Who's gonna pick the berries for my smoothie?" I remember there was actually a woman that said that when immigrants were being deported, and I'm like, "Bitch, get out there and pick them yourself." I mean, that's what I would have said, but hey, that's me. That's me. But
she
let me
might get her hands dirty.
Oh my God, oh, greasy stuff. So that's my point. Was like when you're talking about price, and then Top Dog Tailgate. And I love Eric. I love him.
Mhm.
I disagree with you because Jimmy's Joe is going to be 100. You know what? Jimmy Haslam gets $0 from the parking downtown.
Exactly.
He'll get the money this time, and if he's smart, he might do it at half the price and still make a killing.
Mhm.
He might.
Doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. He might.
Yeah.
Plus, he's going to have skin in the game in that whole thing. He knows what he's doing. The man doesn't. You don't make billions of dollars and not know what you're doing in life or just in business. So that whole thing about the schools is bullshit. The whole thing about taxpayer money, it's partial bullshit because it's being lent. It's a loan. It's not
new taxes either.
No,
Mhm.
it's not new. It's a part of the state budget. It's nothing new. Keep in mind too, there was something else that came up because somebody was trying to tell me that it failed. The budget failed, and I'm like, well, it passed 55 to 15 vote. The vote in the House of Representatives 55 to 15. They said it failed in the Senate, and I was like, what are you talking about? They just voted in the House. There was an amendment that was added about stopping loans for sports stadiums, preventing that. Okay. That amendment failed by one vote. That's all that was.
Right. And I know that there was some concern, at least, if about how that if it only failed by one vote, what does that mean in terms of, okay, even if it passes the Senate, you don't have a super majority, which would prevent DeWine from vetoing it.
Right. Well, DeWine's not going to veto. He has line item veto power. He can cross it out. He can get rid of it if he wants to. Even though he says this isn't the way to go, I don't know if he's going to do that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't read his mind. I don't see if they passes and they have everything in place. Is he going to be the guy preventing a new stadium in Cleveland?
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on who said, "Hey, let me shake your hand."
Well, how are they insulating his campaign for the future? The Haslams.
Well, the General Assembly wouldn't even consider it. I didn't mind his idea of the gambling tax increase. I did not mind that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great
clever.
thing.
Yeah, very clever.
But the state General Assembly didn't even consider it. They didn't even put it on. They didn't even put it up for a vote. So,
well, I don't want to get you too fired up, and I know actually we need to take a commercial break, right?
Hey, Ann. Yeah, we need to take a commercial break, but we want to say shout out to Ann Friedman. Thank you for commenting, Ann.
Happy Passover, Ann.
Yeah,
Happy
Shabbat
Passover.
Shalom. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, everybody, we need to be quiet for a few seconds for a break from our sponsors. How about them sponsors? Thank you. Much appreciated. All right. Now we're back, and you're going to get me fired up for a break. Was that what that was?
Yeah.
All right. So listen.
I get pissed, man. Watch out.
See the other story, the other stupidity. Bob Demora. You shouldn't be able to get funding for a stadium unless you have winning seasons in 3 out of the prior 5 seasons.
Then the Indians would have never had that stadium funding.
Yeah, that is the dumbest thing I've heard since the guy who said it should be a crime to plant a flag in an opponent's, on the field.
Oh, they
Mhm,
actually, yeah,
mhm.
that didn't go anywhere.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
but
that
that's
was
what I'm saying.
dumb.
It's the
Yeah.
stupidity.
Yeah.
Dumb ideas by politicians 101. Yep.
Yeah, you got nothing better to do. I mean, well, I actually heard. Well, Bob Demora, is that any relation to Jimmy Demora?
I don't know. I just know Bob Demore. I
I
didn't go
remember
that.
Jimmy Demora was like a big fat dude that went to jail. Yeah,
Yes, he did. Yeah, I do recall that.
yeah. I
But
remember
Bob Demora,
that.
I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, you chowderhead.
Mhm, mhm.
Well, I mean, Adam the Bull too, but posting what he did about the school stuff, and even Daryl kind of squashed that. Jason Lloyd, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Shows, put the kibosh on that with the guy with a good source that he had too. And I don't agree with everything a lot of these guys say, but what was it about Adam the Bull? I guess he did say that since his New Year's resolution that he was going to watch his weight.
Go
It's
up.
still there. It's still there. Yeah. He's watching his weight and it's still there. That's what he told me. So
Oh my. Oh, you know what's funny though? On his and I don't know Adam or anything like that, but I know he's got a picture for a podcast that he does, and it's like a thin picture of it.
Unrecognizable.
I'm
Yes.
like,
was that
I
from
saw it. I'm like,
1987?
who is that guy? Is that his
Who
brother?
ate Adam the
Who is it?
Bull? Who he ate Adam
False
Yeah,
advertising.
100% unrecognizable. I'm like, maybe it's
Well,
time to update
It was
that.
even comical when he was commenting on DeJuan Jones's weight, and I'm like,
Oh
dude,
yeah, that was when DeJuan Jones clapped back. That was even better.
it's like, dude,
That was hilarious.
the pot calling the kettle black right there. I'm like, God,
That was amazing.
God.
Very
Oh
funny.
boy, it certainly is. Hey, you got to feel good when you're recognizable enough that your stupidity gets a response.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, DeJuan Jones is a professional athlete, started left tackle in the NFL and right tackle, and started for the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? I mean, he's a world-class athlete, even though he's a bigger guy, 6'11", 350 pounds. Yeah, we got to watch your weight, of course. But Adam, no, you'd blow up walking to the bathroom. I mean, I'm just
Ooh, I would hope not. Jeez, why would he blow up in the bathroom?
He ate Taco Bell. That's a value.
I was thinking,
that's a
you know, I
wrestling
was on
term
the-
being winded. He'd get winded. That's a wrestling term of
Okay,
being
I was
winded. You're all
thinking
blown
along
up.
the lines of what Ethan was saying. I'm like, I don't
No.
want to think of that blow up situation.
No, all blown up. No, all blown up. That's what it means.
yeah.
All blown up means you're winded. You're that means you're done. You're blown up. That's it. That happens a lot. That happens a lot in wrestling.
Gotcha.
So interesting. You got any more X-Tards for us to look at?
Well, actually, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. When we were talking about the stadium, I was actually looking at Top Dog Tailgate because
Yeah, I like Eric. I
It's
get along
very
with him well.
negative. I know it's extremely negative what he
right, and
posts
so I
about
think
the new stadium.
there's a number of accounts that I would never. I don't like to be blocking guy. I am muting guys.
Oh, I mute so many people. I love muting.
I don't need to hear about this or that or the other, but I'm
see this, that, or the other.
Yeah. The word I cannot get the words to come out of my mouth. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And you see, they green lighted the project for Final Friday.
Final Friday. Really? That's the
with Ice Cube.
Will Felicia be in it?
No, they already said bye, Felicia.
Is that bye, Felicia?
That is bye, Felicia. But Craig's dad, that actor is dead. That sucks.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
From the toilet.
Mr. Jones.
They'll work something else in. They'll figure that out.
I hope that gets done because I am definitely looking forward. I would look forward to that for certain.
Here's an obvious fact. BrownsNation.com posted insider. I love it when they have an insider believes that the Browns are leaning towards drafting a developmental quarterback prospect after signing Flacco. Do you think?
Really? Are you sure? What?
Yeah. No, it's Shedeur Sanders it too.
No way. That's funny.
I
mean, if they did draft him, I'd want him to succeed. But the thing that scares me about Shedeur Sanders is just all the drama and all the bullshit that'll come with his dad. I just don't want it. I dealt with Watson. I've dealt with this crap. I just want to draft a quarterback.
All I could think of is
What?
Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad. I have PTSD from that, you guys, as
Yeah.
you should as well.
Yeah, so when he doesn't convert a third down, we can have still pictures on Twitter showing everybody that was open. Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
How is it that everyone seems to have access to all 22 and they're clipping these things and they're doing these things? I'm like, oh.
I know. Let me see. I liked it one guy when he said, I liked it when they called it Twitter because it was filled with twits.
Oh, that's funny.
That's just, yeah. Everybody's an expert on everything. So,
Mhm.
oh God, I'm glad Flacco's back. I saw that. I was like, okay, that tells me that they might have had their eye on Cousins, but Atlanta overplayed their hand.
They did.
Yeah. So now it's like, well, maybe New Orleans will try to get Kirk Cousins.
Well, I don't know
We got
what
a
their
New Orleans
right
fan
now,
right
I'm not
here.
sure. What does their quarterback room actually look like following
No,
Derek Carr? I guess is my question. Like,
Derek
what's his
Carr and
injury?
shoulder. It's
What's the name?
shoulder. His shoulder.
Okay.
let's see here. What is their depth chart? Quarterback. Their backups are, Spencer Rattler, Jake Hayner, and Ben DiNucci.
DiNucci.
So,
he's one of them Italians.
100% and 100%. I know the feeling. We could, sympathize being Browns fans with that feeling.
Yeah, they've got to get some. The bottom line is they're going to have to get somebody, but and I don't know what their salary cap issues
Mhm.
not.
It's been horrible.
Right. So, that might not be an option for Cousins. What's going to happen in Pittsburgh? Are they going to just roll with Mason Rudolph and a rookie, or are they still trying to line up this Aaron Rodgers thing?
Oh, did you hear that they were interested in Flacco, and he was like, "Pump the brakes."
Who was?
Pittsburgh.
I heard he turned down offers from two teams, and one of them was the Giants. That was according
and
to
the other
Tony
was
Grossi.
Pittsburgh.
Really?
The other one
I
was
didn't know
Pittsburgh.
the other was Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned out. Yeah, also Pittsburgh. Their Twitter fans were going crazy about T.J. Watt getting traded. I did not see that.
That was weird. Yeah, because he put up a peace sign
because he like peacing out or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like
people are hysterical. Okay,
I was one of the
according
few.
to our,
I mean, Sherry, you probably were too. We were thinking Myles Garrett wasn't going anywhere. He
Right,
didn't have any leverage. It didn't make sense. And the more he talked, the worse he looked. Because I had Jack Duffett on this show. He wouldn't go on record saying that. All he did was nod when I told him, but it wasn't recorded. We weren't recording when I did that. I said, I think he's, and this was right before that extension. And then I messed, because Jack's all the way out across the pond in England. So when I talked to him, but yeah, there's people that were. You hear all these crazy ass like we're going to trade Deshaun Watson and Myles Garrett. Yeah, we're going to have over $100 million dead cap hit in the next 2 years. Yeah, okay, that's ridiculous.
Right. I also I get a little bit frustrated with. Okay, so I want to ask this question and then pose my my point here.
I have a same canned answer for all questions, but go ahead.
Okay. No. Do you get when you're at work during the day? Do you get a chance to listen to the local Cleveland sports radio?
I do, but I could do that, but I don't.
and that's fine. No, because what my point being, they will post stuff specifically. Actually, both 92.3 and ESPN Cleveland will post a clip. Whoever does their social media will put something on the clip, and then people react to it. And I don't think they've been listening to the whole show. And they have no idea.
It's out of context. Is that what you're saying?
Out of context. And so like yesterday there were replies because on ESPN Cleveland, they were doing a thing. What would your dream scenario be? If you had a dream of what you would do in the draft, and like Rizzo was like, I would trade, out of the second spot, but then we're trading Myles Garrett and we're going to do, and it was a hypothesis. It was a fantasy, yet people were acting like he was being, saying it with any grain of salt. It was a dream. It had nothing rooted in it. So why are people acting like it's the gospel?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, what's your dream scenario for the draft, Ethan?
That's a good question, Lou. I'm going to say at this. Okay. Well,
It's going to be gospel now.
all right.
Praise Jesus.
Okay. So prior to
Praising Jesus with two Jews. Go ahead.
prior to this morning's pickup of Joe Flacco, I was heavily in the camp of I would not have hated it if the Browns took a quarterback at 2, probably Shedeur Sanders.
Mhm.
Now that we have Flacco on board, I feel a little bit better. There's a little bit more stability there that you don't have to take a quarterback at 2. I think you take Travis Hunter.
Okay.
Or you said, Lou, I mean, I prefer Hunter over Carter, but whatever.
I could see the logic in either Connor or Carter. I can.
Right.
I could see it.
So,
Okay.
and then I would want to get the quarterback of my choosing, whether it be at 33 or if I have to jump back in a little bit without having to give up much capital. Maybe it's a swap of a third round, a fourth rounder and a swap of a third rounder, something along those lines. But I think then you've got to get the quarterback. I'm assuming it would either be Dart or Milroe. Please don't give me Shuck. If I get Shuck, I'm going to be saying the
You're
other.
going to up Chuck.
What the
Chuck,
shuck,
Chuck.
man?
Hey.
What the shuck?
Exactly.
What the shuck? We'd be like, what the shuck? What about you, Sherry?
No, I'm very in tune with Ethan. I again felt very at ease with what happened this morning. It made me feel less anxious of what the
You're more
future was
zen.
going to be. More zen. I would have been okay with Shedeur Sanders at 2. Now I'm on the Travis Hunter camp since we don't have to, go and snipe a quarterback necessarily right out the gate. And I
Right.
am on the team of let's get Jackson Dart
You're the Dart.
and let's
Okay.
develop him in the Stefanski system.
They're
Whoever
paying
it
us.
is has to be developed.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
they're a project, and Jackson Dart was.
they-
I mean,
yeah.
Stefanski attended his
Any of
workout
them.
personally
Mhm,
while they were at Penn State having dinner with Abdul Carter. So I mean, they were killing two birds and getting stoned at the same time. So
Heck yeah.
that's a line from Trailer Park Boys. I don't know if you
Oh,
got
I need to start watching that. That's on my
With Ricky.
list because I finished all my Danny McBride stuff, so I'm a little
What's that?
sad
What's
right
that?
now.
Did you see Carter posted a pic of Lawrence Taylor on his account and everybody's going
Mhm.
nuts saying he's going to be a giant? Okay.
Eh,
Yeah, whatever, man. Whatever. See,
What-
okay,
Gonna do if
well,
they
you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me what's my dream
What's
draft
your
night
dream
scenario.
scenario,
My
Lou?
dream scenario on
Holding hands
April
with Ethan.
24th at 8 p.m. My dream scenario, I have the same canned answer for everything. I get to motorboat Scarlett Johansson.
I see.
There you go.
I guess we should have been more specific
Yes.
about your dream
Whoa.
for the
Wait,
Browns.
can I Homer into
Browns
the
draft.
wall? Homer into the wall. now,
Homer
please.
I could have said a lot worse. Sherry, I've
Yeah,
said a
you're
lot
right.
worse. I could have
Then
said
I
a
would
lot worse.
definitely.
Just
I'd
before the show, I could have said
I would
just something I
Homer
said.
under the desk.
It's just all you just see is like two eyes just sitting there. There she goes. She disappeared. You know what? When I had Megan Donovan on here and she walked out like 3 times with my jokes.
I love these really poorly put together things that I do, but it
Yes.
makes
Okay. Draft scenario. I like Abdul Carter. I really do. I could see that pass rush
Sounds
being
like you
unstoppable. And with him and Myles Garrett and what the Philadelphia Eagles did to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, I like it. I could see it. And then I think athletically, the best quarterback athletically in this draft is probably Milroe. And I could see them developing him with Tommy Reese as his offensive corner. So that's just what I'm seeing.
Sure.
But whoever they draft, I want him to succeed. And yep.
Absolutely. Because he's on
So-
Team Good Guy now.
Oh,
Well, I mean, you look at all these guys that have come through town that we have rooted for and hoped they would do well for the sake of
Be the guy.
Colt McCoy.
Be
guy,
the
whether it
guy.
was- I mean, everybody loved Brian Hoyer, but
He
at the
gets
same
us.
time, when Manziel came in, we're like, all right, come on, Johnny Football, let's do it. And Money Manziel did not live up to the hype, but we rooted for him.
Oh, we did.
course.
But then he did it himself. I mean, he just
Oh yeah,
whoever that draft was probably the worst draft that moves in history. Because the worst draft, what was it? Justin Gilbert. Nobody
That
even
was the same
visited.
draft. Yeah,
Nobody even visited Oklahoma State. Nobody talked to any of the coaches. You're taking a 7th overall pick on a guy, and you never met with him. And he
Yikes.
had issues, mental issues.
Who was the front office then?
Ray Farmer.
Or-
Ray the Farmer texting down to the sidelines, getting in trouble with the
I see.
NFL. All right.
Okay.
Ray Farmer and Mike
Gotcha.
Pettin were the team. And actually, Pettin wasn't bad, but he was just in a bad situation. I mean,
Yeah,
Pettin
oh,
was,
he was in a pickle. He was in a pickle where
Not a
they
good pickle. One of those gross sweet ones.
Mount Olive.
Mount Olive, North Carolina. I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, we drive through there on our way down to Wilmington, and I
Yep.
don't like their pickles.
You don't like their pickles?
They're sweet.
Yeah.
No, not the sweet pickles. I'm talking kosher dill only. That's the good pickle.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Not the
saying.
weed.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know about their kosher. Give me Vlasic all day if I'm going to get a store brand, whatever. But
Wait, when am I seeing you? I got a massive. Never mind what I got.
So,
Pickle collection.
yes, pickle question. We're talking about Manziel, talking about that.
Mhm.
We that whole stupid jersey those idiots wear and they show that
Oh, I'm
picture.
sick
I'm
of
so
it.
sick of that. That's stop. You're not funny. You're a dipshit. Okay, it's an old joke. It's done.
it really is. I mean,
It's played.
it's not like they go into every season and say we're going to start 5 quarterbacks. How many times are our quarterbacks getting injured? And it's
Yeah.
just
Right.
part of that's ineptitude, part of it's bad luck. I mean, what about
Great
other teams that
question.
have had?
Oh,
Steve.
all three of us will be at the Journey concert, Steve. So will John. John will be there.
Oh,
and I
John
think-
will be there?
Yes, John Suchan's going to be there. Yep.
I love
Johnny
John.
Cleveland. Johnny Cleveland will make an appearance. I'll be there. Ethan will be there.
I'll be there.
Yep. And I think a whole host of people.
Sure.
But that's happening. Yeah. So we'll see you there,
Will
Steve.
you be there?
He said, I think he said, did he say, big question, who is all going to the Journey and draft party? Yep. That's where we're going to be there. And I'm going to be looking for Scarlett Johansson. So
He will not be there.
you never know.
You don't know.
It's a-
You don't
You never-
ask.
yeah. God. I mean, if Taylor Swift shows up, she could show up. I mean,
Could be.
yeah.
It very well could be.
You know, because they're catering to the young people by asking Journey to play.
Yeah. That'll do it. Yeah.
Oh,
They want that
Steve's
young
gone on
money.
Steve is going on vacation.
Oh,
What's that?
no.
Steve is on vacation.
All right. Well, enjoy your vacation.
I mean, enjoy
I don't
your
want to know.
vacation.
Enjoy your vacation. You earned it. You deserve it.
You deserve it. Enjoy.
I mean, my vacation is coming to this.
yes, yes, it is.
Enjoy it. Yeah, come downtown. Sit down. I just hope that draft night party, the weather's decent. I just don't want it. I mean, I don't mind it being a little bit cold.
I have spilkas.
wanna-
Anybody else have spilkas? Because it's
The hell
been
is
up and
that?
down and up and down and up and down.
Spilkas. The
Yeah,
hell is
Spilkas. I don't have
Nervous
any Spilkas
energy?
right now. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't have-
nervous energy. Is that what that
The
is?
spilkas, yeah.
I used to always
Ah.
ask my kids, like, you got the Spilkas.
Before a car ride, who has spilkas? Go to the bathroom
Yeah.
now.
If anybody Spilkas anything in my car, I'm going to be pissed off.
Exactly.
Wow. Gotta love you guys. This is totally disconnected with the Jewish culture on here. I love it. But no, guys, seriously, I think this was a great show. It was a productive show. We talked a lot about the stuff that's going on with the Browns. I think the Kirk Cousins deal is off the table.
Oh,
Mm,
absolutely.
yeah.
I think quarterback at 2 is off the table. I think they're going to draft somebody. I don't see them taking Will Howard because I haven't seen any pre-draft interest in Will Howard, but I've seen a lot. They've worked out 4 guys. They've worked out personally: Shador Sanders, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, and Jalen Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said Milroe had like an amazing pro day, and I guess he ran like a 4.39 40 or something, like insane. I mean, if they get his mechanics right and he can read defenses, he'll be a good player.
Well, okay, so let me bring that up. Look at his feet. What Lamar Jackson? They said he should have convert to what, a wide receiver or a what did they tell him he should be before they drafted him?
Who said that? Who said that?
There was somebody who was talking at some
Wow.
point. I know there's a story out there talking
It
about.
wasn't Mel Kiper, was it?
No. It was some joker of, I think, maybe a former front office. There's a story out there.
Tenenbaum? Was that Tenenbaum, the same guy that had all these trade scenarios? That was
It
just
wouldn't
ridiculous.
surprise me because Tannenbaum's a big dumbass, and there's a reason he doesn't have a job in the NFL. He and Lombardi, Mike Lombardi.
Oh, just real quick. Cleveland Cavaliers 108, New York Knicks 102. We're 63-17. Got
Wow.
2 games to go.
Yeah, they basically in the second half, New York sat everybody.
Mm.
Is that what they did?
I'm pretty certain. I know I've got Mike from across the pond, Mike from the UK, and I were talking about it earlier. And
the Knicks scored a 16-point fourth quarter. 16 points in the fourth quarter. So yeah.
Yeah,
Well, anyway,
I know
a
that
win.
the Cavs-
A win is a win. Yeah.
Oh, it's absolutely. Last night
Mhm.
was a crazy game against the Pacers.
Yeah.
They had all their starters playing all game, and
Mhm.
we played Jared Allen in the first half only. By the fourth quarter, we sat Jerome and Hunter. Struess, Garland, and Mitchell and Mobley didn't play last night.
Oh.
So we hung with them with our bench.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
am looking forward to the playoffs. I think that weekend of the draft, the playoffs will have started. They'll probably be on the road because that'll probably be about game 3 or 4.
Yeah. Now it depends on how the play-in tournament works. I'm hearing it's either Atlanta or Orlando, but it depends on how the play-in tournament works, right?
Actually, so here's the thing. Orlando right now is the 7. It could be one of 4 teams. It could
Right.
be Orlando, Chicago, Miami,
Or Atlanta.
or Atlanta. It just,
Yeah.
but I think right now Orlando's 7, and then I'm looking
Atlanta's 8, Chicago's 9, and Miami's 10. I got it right here in front of me.
right. So Orlando's
Yeah.
going to play the 8, and whoever loses that game, so whoever wins that game is the 7. And if the whoever loses that game plays the winner of the 9-10 for the 8 seed. Between whoever that, again, I don't. I mean,
So
I don't know all the tiebreakers. Is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We'll see. We'll have to see.
We'll
But
see. And
I'm glad.
Go ahead, Lou.
No, I'm glad they clinched. I'm glad they clinched when they did. They got time to rest, guys, get healthy. But go ahead. I talked over you, man. Go ahead.
No, I mean they've got a week off, so the play-in tournament is going to be next week. It's so the play-in tournament is next week, like the 15th through the 18th, something along those lines. And then the playoffs will start on the 19th and the 20th, I believe. So Saturday the 19th, Sunday the 20th. So the Cavs are going to be hosting sometime at the beginning of that week, but the schedule isn't out. I've been looking. There's no schedule out. I know the Guardians are going to be home that week. They've got the Yankees and the Reds early or middle of the week, and then the Red Sox over the weekend, but they're off on Thursday. When the draft is going on, the first night of the draft and all that.
So is the last game of the season Sunday?
Yes, it is. The last game of the regular season. So the Cavs are going to have an entire week off just to chill and heal
practice.
Up.
Rest versus rust will be the debate.
Bingo. That is exactly right. That is the discussion. You hit the nail on the head there. And just in case you're wondering, I know you guys are very interested in this. Sunday night, it looks like Sunday afternoon, I think, there will be a championship game to attend at the Wolstein Center for the Cleveland Crunch.
Really?
They are playing the semifinal right now. They are beating the bejesus out of a team 13-1.
Wow.
The Cleveland Crunch.
They are part of the MLIS, the Major League Indoor Soccer, and they play out at the Sportsplex. But they got to host this year's playoffs at the Wolstein Center. So the first semifinal was earlier. Great finish. I was watching the stream of it. And so if you're looking for something fun to do, head on down to the Wolstein Center.
Yep. Cleveland State. That's my alma mater. Yep.
Nice. Awesome. You're a Viking. I
was a Viking. Yep. I graduated from Cleveland State the summer of '99. Yep.
Real man. I didn't realize. So you guys summer, and I was Kent State, December 2000.
Yeah. That's what I did.
Holy smokes here. Representing
Ohio. Guys, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. Again, thank you. Again, Ethan, thanks for coming on. It was fun. It's always a blast. Sherry, always fun. We'll be back next week, Friday at 9:00. Anything you guys want to plug before I let you go? Anybody else commenting? Thanks for all the comments, guys.
Steve commented it was wide receiver.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
That was what they were saying
for
about
Lamar.
But I need to probably they'd like to plug my butt, Very
Plug your
gas.
butt.
Very
Hmm.
gas.
That's
Well,
well, get it all out before the matzah.
get it out.
I gotta say, the shofars on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur.
Yes.
Yes. Now I get it. We'll have some matzo ball soup tomorrow.
Hey guys, thank you all for joining us. And always remember, when the river burns, it burns brown and orange. And we're going to enjoy the new stadium in a couple of years. So. That was Sherry's idea. Hey, John, if I get hit with a copyright, blame Sherry. I think this is public domain. All that Megillah.
I like it.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I know. Break out your recorder and your internet.
Where's the klezmer band?